Hello, I am Isabell, and I'm so happy to have this conversation about wonderful film Deux with Barbara Sukova and Filippo Meneghetti.
Thank you,
Filippo,
Isabella.
Thank you, Isabel.
Hello. So, Filippo, I loved your film. I saw it at the ARC Festival last year, and I was really thrilled by it. So subtle, so moving, so unexpected. So, you are Italian, obviously. Why did you decide to make a movie in French?
Well, first of all, thanks for your words. I'm Italian, but I live in France, and I came a little bit like the Nina character in the film. I came in France for love, so for personal reason. So since I live in France and I want to make film, and also in France, I found the right condition. I found a system that and people that trusted me and that invested in my work, and that was great. And it is sure that making my first feature in a language that is not my language, to start with, was a kind of a challenge. But I find it very interesting. Also directing actors that speaks another language, I believe that brings something to the way you look at things and you look at them. I did previously I did a short that was acted in Breton, the language which nobody speaks anymore, more or less, and which I don't speak neither. And that was very interesting about that. The way you look at the body, the way the actors move, it was very interesting. So yeah, that was it.
Why this story? What drew you to craft this love story between two women?
Mm-hmm. It is a long journey, meaning that in the year of my formation, when I was a teenager, two people that were very important in my formation, since they are the person that passed on to me the passion for cinema, lived a story which is not the one that the film tells, which is invented, but a story that was very hard, and I witnessed that at that time, and I was really touched by it. And so I always thought that if one day I had the chance to reach an audience, I would have loved to tell that kind of story as a gesture, something like giving back to them this gift that they gave me of cinema, something like an homage to them. But then the story is invented, and I was looking for years, kind of hunting for metaphor, while you live through your life. The right angle to tell that kind of story. And then one day I was in Verona, which strangely enough is the Romeo and Juliet town for a love story. I guess it makes sense. And I was visiting a friend, and his neighbor were two widows that became widows pretty much at the same time. And they were sharing the landing with two apartments, one in front of the other, living, to keep each other company, talking all the time through the landing. And I've heard that. And since I'm very curious, I was peeping in a little bit. And when I saw that, it clicked, and I said, that's the right way to tell the story that I want to tell, since it is a very simple and everyday life metaphor for, the door that is always open and then the door that is always shut. Give me the possibility with a simple metaphor to show what is happening inside the character. And I'm always looking for that.
What is not allowed, because there is something which like a kind of a transgression in this relationship for people around.
Yeah, but then, and also, the landing become a frontier, a border, and that you have to cross about transgression and about things that are allowed or not. So, that clicked. And then, of course, then we've been working for 5 years with my co-writer, with Malison Bovarasmi, and there are so many things of my life, her life, and people we know, people we got in touch with, people we studied that came into the story and changed it and nourished it.
And Filippo, how did you come up with the idea of casting Barbara Sukova and Martine Chevalier?
Well, I had one thing in mind at the beginning. It was to cast two very different actresses, because the very important thing is to find the right chemistry. And I believe, chemistry works better with two very different elements. So, and I know Barbara's work since a long time, and I always loved her work. And I was looking for not a French actress, because the character was always a stranger. Because as I'm a stranger in France, I don't know, it made sense to me, and I wanted the character to be completely alone. And since Nina is a stranger there after, the stroke and so on, and so we thought about Barbara, and she was, she made me this gift of trusting me after reading the script and meeting. And with Martine, I wanted a theater actress, which was less known from the cinematographic audience, also to create this distance and to melt easier in this part of Madeleine Girard from the small town in south of France. Because also Barbara, as Nina, has nothing to do in a small town in southern France. And I think this kind of thing nourished the character somehow. And, and Martine, she's such a great theater actress. And the casting director took me to La Comédie Française to see her, and she was wonderful. So, and also she was brave enough to trust me, I guess.
Yeah, they're both extraordinary. I was
They are.
touched by their performances. Yeah, but I think you gave an answer already to this next question, because why did you choose to shoot the film entirely in the apartment? And what is quite extraordinary about the film that given the restricted situation of the location, it's never theatrical, yet it remains extremely highly cinematic. And I think it's not the least challenge and succeed of the film, actually.
Thanks. It is. The idea was how do we create? Again, the architecture was really the core of the idea of the film, because it gave me one possibility. First of all, was to have two apartments that somehow mirror the character. Madeleine's apartment is very cozy and full of objects that represent her life and her past. But it is too cozy. I was always talking with the set designer saying that I want that to be so cozy that you don't want to live in it. You have to suffocate into it. And Nina's apartment, it is a fake apartment, and you find it out, and that was a will that we had since the beginning while writing the film, just in the second part of the film. And when you realize that this empty apartment was never actually lived in, it mirrors her state of mind, the emptiness that she might feel after the stroke. And so that helped to build up a tension, and to avoid also theatrical idea. We shot in CinemaScope, and really, it's also this idea of shooting a thriller more than a melodrama. This idea of creating a tension that will trigger the audience emotion. That was very important since the beginning.
Okay, thank you, Filippo.
Thanks so much, Isabel. And Barbara, see you. Maybe we talk later.
Yeah.
Cheers. Ciao.
Congratulations. Hello, Barbara. So, Barbara, what drew you to this script?
First, Isabel, I have to say it's such an honor for me that you do this, because I think you are such an extraordinary actress and such a unique actress, and with a mind-blowing body of work. I mean, I'm just so touched that you like this film and my work, and so I want to say that before everything, because I'm really, like, I'm sure one of your biggest
It's
fans.
really my pleasure. Really my pleasure.
What drew me to the script? Well, I always like to do things that I haven't done before, and I certainly hadn't done a love story not in this way, between two women. I did something like a more covered one, but not one like this. And when I read the script, I mean, there was really so little that I had to object to. And I like the idea that it was a love story between two older women and an erotic story between two older women, because we know stories. I mean, often the audience, or especially men, are drawn to stories between young lesbian women, which has sort of a titillating quality. And I like this idea that it's really then more about the love than just about, the physical consummation of love. And Yeah, and I also thought it was so interesting that a young man was interested in the love story between two older women. I was wondering what kind of dynamic that is, what interested. I thought this could be a very different look on a situation, on this situation, that if it was like, let's say, a female director of the same age.
Yeah, I like what you say, because one would think that necessarily a movie like this should be focused and seen through a woman's eye, and which I don't think. I think, especially in cinema, a male gaze or female gaze, I wouldn't say is equal, but is as surprising sometimes and interesting. And
I
it's
know.
not a story between two women that it should be necessarily seen through a woman's gaze. And I think that's really, really interesting.
Like your film Hidden Love. It's a man who directed it, right?
Hidden Love, c'était quoi? What the...
That is you, the mother and the daughter, this extraordinary love story between mother and daughter. She's in an asylum, in a mental asylum.
Oh my God. I must be in a
I'm
mental...
sorry.
I have it on my tongue, but attends, c'était quoi? Hidden Love.
Hidden Love.
Is it in an asylum or?
Yes, it's in an asylum.
No, but you know what? So okay, I get you, but such few people saw this film. How did you come?
Really, it's
with Greta Scacchi.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm happy to hear about it, actually.
And it's a male director, right? And it's this between mother and daughter. And I was wondering for a while, is that a woman director or no? So
No,
yeah,
no.
that's what's interesting sometimes, like Filippo seeing these two older women. That's a similar.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that film. Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. So, so what did it mean for you to play that role of this woman in love? Because first of all, did you ever play a woman in love with another woman?
Well,
Or did you
I did this film Hildegard from.
I never did it myself, actually, and it's something I sometimes think about. You know, I played
Yeah.
numerous love stories, but I never played a woman in love with another woman. And
Yeah, I played a film called Vision about Hildegard von Bingen, a 12th century nun who has a very loving feeling, but it's a more transcendent kind of feeling. So no, I was very interested how this would be going. And when I met Martine, Filippo arranged a dinner with us in Paris, and we knew we wouldn't have much rehearsal. So what did we talk about? How do you prepare? And we just opened up about our own love life and our own lovers and our heartbreaks and all that. And I have, of course, beforehand, I have talked to lesbian friends, and you know, it doesn't seem to be so very different. The feelings, you know, the pain, the hopes, the dreams, except in this case, what interested me, what element and what part of the love was the secrecy. I was wondering, did this relation last for such a long time? And that's very important in the film. I think that it is a relation that has gone on for a long time. It's not new love. These people have lived something together. But what was the secrecy? Did that stimulate the love? Is that why it was able to, the love lasted so long, that there was always an element of adventure in it? Because I imagined, how did they even meet? How did they see each other? They must have made plans. They must have, you know, lied to their family, and all these elements. Did this sort of enhance the eroticism between them?
I think you gave an answer to my next question, which was going to be, how did this role of a lesbian woman differ from other love stories? But you just gave me the answer. Yeah, and in fact,
well, I think it has changed a lot. Today, I'm living in a neighborhood in New York where there are a lot of gay women are living. And today it's, of course, a totally different thing than in this small town still in France. It's probably a Catholic town. There's probably religious worries. And here the women can go, you know, openly hand in hand. But when the film came out in Toronto, I remember there were two young gay men who came to me and said, "Oh, thank you so much for this movie." They were from the Middle East, and they said, "Where we come from, we can't live our love, and so for us it's so important." And I think that is a little bit like this for Madeleine and Nina, that they're still in a situation, not only because the family, but also because of society around, that they can't really live that love openly.
Yes, and I was thinking when I watched the film, I thought, it's, you know, if you think about it, until now there were more representations of love between gay men than between lesbian.
Yes. Yeah. Why? I don't know, really.
If you think about it, might be one of the first films which really talk about it. So,
especially older gay lesbians.
Older, absolutely.
We were talking about during the film that the daughter has so much problems, and the kids, because the kids are a very important part of the film, I think. And Lea Drucker, who plays, the daughter, who's wonderful, I think, that for them and also for the son, they might have been, if it was a friend who was gay, they would have not reacted so shocked. But I think you see your parents, and especially your mother, probably very different from any other person. And that's also that is the reason that you just don't see older lesbian women, mothers, who live this life, because we still in some way idealize the mothers, mothers have such a, in psychology, either they are being condemned and they're made responsible for every problem that their kid have, or they're idealized. So maybe that's one of the reasons, I don't know.
Oh, so yes, I was wondering, did you prepare with Martin? Martin, I've known Martin for so many years. She's such an incredible actress and person. And so I also saw the film through this vision of Martin doing this role, and I was wondering, how did you prepare with her before the film? Did you girls had any discussions before, or did you just let it go as it happened?
No, well, we just had this one dinner I was mentioning that where we just talked very privately. But normally you don't do this when you don't know somebody. You meet somebody for the first time on the dinner. You don't open your love book or your life book. So, but we knew we had to somehow. We had to get into it somehow. And and then during the film, we talked. When we were off, during the shooting breaks, we were talking and trying to figure it out. Yeah. And we were both, I think we were both glad that we didn't have to do like a full-on sex scene in bed. Which would be okay too, but it would have probably been a little more difficult. Not because we are not gay, but because it's every time. I don't know, you have done a lot of these scenes. I have done these scenes. It's always a different thing. If you go, I have played a lot of roles with gay partners in very erotic situations with gay men. And so I really don't see in the profession where there's the difference. It's always a little bit of for me, I always have to swallow a little bit and think before I can do it very open and free. Mm. Although I do think it's easier to unveil your body than your soul.
Do you think it's easier to unveil your body than your soul?
Yeah, because to show like really your deepest inside of love, I think is more difficult than to show my breasts.
You mean on screen or in real life?
On screen.
On screen.
Yeah.
Not too sure about it. We'll have a discussion.
Yeah.
And what do you think makes this film distinctly French, if it does so? Or do you think that there is something in the film that is distinctly French or, I don't know, European? Do you think you would have done the same film in Germany, for example? Even though it's a strange situation, because it's a French film with an Italian director, with a French actress and a German actress. So I don't know.
I think it's a European film, right? It's a very European film. I think in America there's always accents are always something that are something, although it changes a little bit. I think films get more diverse also regarding nationality. I think people can accept accents more now than 20 years ago. I mean, the family seems to be French. I loved the French part of the movie. We shopped in this small town in Sommières, but I'm still. It's near Montpellier.
Near Montpellier.
Yeah, it's called Sommières, and I loved shooting in France. It was just we did the inside in Luxembourg, and we did a lot of stuff in Luxembourg, but we did a lot of outside in France, and I loved that small town and especially the marché. I mean, it was just wonderful to go to this market. That is something that I really don't have here. I mean, we have a farmer's market in New York, but you just can't compare that to any market in France. And I'm still thinking of it, and I'm telling my kids about this. They say, oh, you should have seen this, the saucisson, the sausages, and the vegetables, and the cheeses. And yeah, that's...
nice one in New York, too. But I see what you mean, yeah.
You can't compare it.
Absolutely. And have you been a part of a film submitted for Best International Picture before? Or is this the first time?
I think this is the first time for me. Yeah. It's exciting.
It is.
It's nice.
Yeah. It's very exciting.
Yeah, thank you, France.
Oh, yes. As more people see the film, what do you hope their reaction will be? What do you expect from people's reactions?
Well, you know yourself, I mean, that the same film is seen in so many different ways from people. I've done Q&As where one person said, I love this film about loneliness, and the other person said, I love this film about love. So it's there will be different reactions. I hope, and we've heard this, which I really liked from people, that older people, for example, who had problems with homosexuality, that they changed their mind when they came out and they saw this long-lasting, loving relationship. And we were also surprised that so many young people reacted to it. I did not expect that. And I think maybe because they haven't seen it. They haven't seen love stories certainly not between women. There are some between older people, but I think there is actually an interest from younger people because the media is so full of young, beautiful, exciting people. And I think it's a lot of pressure also on young people to be constantly confronted with that. And to see like these two women, one provincial, the other from a bigger town, wrinkled and not at all that image of beauty. I think that's maybe a little bit relaxing also for people. And I think people start more and more to young people an interest in older people.
And how was it to work on a French film compared to German films? I mean, this is not your first time in a French film,
No.
But I don't know. Can you establish some of distinguished differences between two ways of doing, or
I think through all the co-productions, it has become a little more the same. I remember 20 years ago, the food on German films was not great, but now it's no. I think through all the co-productions, there is more similarity now. I couldn't say at this point what the difference is. This has a lot to do with the production. It has a lot to do with the director. We had a wonderful production, wonderful producers. I think it has more to do with that. And we had a great, lovely actors, which was fun working with. So, it was a real pleasure to do this film.
Has the film been released in Germany already?
I think it has, but then came COVID, and then it was just like stopped and
And went. I mean, Didn't stay for long because of COVID?
No, I don't think it is. COVID came and then everybody stayed at home, and I think they're streaming it now, internationally. And hopefully, I mean, in some places there will be theaters open. We saw it in the theater in China, in Macau, and in Toronto, and then it was then it came out in France, so it was nice to see it in the theater there. But then COVID came, and it was
That
in
was
a lot
it.
of places. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you have experienced the same thing, with films.
Oh, yes, with so many films in France.
Right,
Okay.
I know.
Yeah. Barbara, thank you so much. And thank you, Filippo. Filippo had to leave to receive an award. Congratulations and good for him. And I was so happy to have this conversation with you. And I wish you the best for the film. Again, it's a great film. It's very moving. It's very unusual. It's one of those films which remain. Once you have seen it, you can't forget it. And I wish the best for the film, really. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Isabell.